Make life yummy with food for your mind and tummy. Lady Yum Yum.
Hi, welcome to the Lady Yum Yum Show. Today we're making a mushroom gravy. I don't know if it's fall and the cold weather or all the upcoming holidays that makes me want mashed potatoes and gravy, but I love gravy. And this version is not only simple to make, but it's fairly healthy. It's low fat, low calorie as well. Let's get started. We'll put about 2 teaspoons of olive oil into a nonstick frying pan, which is on a medium heat right now. I'll just swirl that around, get covered pretty well on the bottom. I'm using white button mushrooms, but I also really like criminis and shiitakes for this recipe. I've cut them about 1/4 inch thick and about 1.5 inches square-ish. And we'll spread these out into a single layer as much as possible, and we're going to brown them on both sides until they shrink down and most of the moisture is out of the mushroom. It takes a good, 5 minutes on each side. While that's happening, let's mix up our other ingredients. I have 1 3/4 cups of stock. I'm using homemade, but you can use store-bought. Doesn't matter. It should taste good. Homemade tastes better in my mind. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce. So I have 2 cups total of liquid. Takes a little while here. There we go. And give that a little stir and taste it and see if you like the amount of salt. Yeah, that's perfect. So you don't want it too salty or not salty enough. Not salty enough, add a little more soy sauce. Too salty, add a little more stock. Be around 2 cups, as close to 2 cups as possible. Now we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. You'll notice I didn't measure perfectly well. Close enough will work for this. And then I'm going to whisk it until there's none of the cornstarch is left on the top. So just till it's all smooth and dissolved. And that's all there is to that part. We'll give that another stir right before we put it into our frying pan as well. You can see there's nice color on our mushrooms and they've shrunk down quite a bit. Now I like to add a little wine at this point. I'm using a red wine. You can skip this step. It'll be a little less rich, but it'll still taste great. I do it both ways. If I have wine open, I put a little in. That was about 1/4 cup of wine, and I'll just let that cook into the mushrooms and reduce down until it has a thicker consistency. That'll just take a few seconds here. You can see it's already there. See when I move it around? It's thick. There we go. Now I'm going to add the rest of our liquid. I gave it a little whisk before I poured it in to make sure none of the cornstarch had settled on the bottom. Then you pour that in, and we'll just stir that until it thickens, and you'll see it also will get darker as it cooks. It just takes a few minutes, probably less than 5. You can see it's getting much darker in color, and once it starts boiling, we'll have gravy. There we go. You can see it's boiling and it's a nice gravy consistency. So we are done. Turning off the heat, and I've got some mashed potatoes to pour this over. And a great hint for your mashed potatoes is instead of whipping them, use a ricer. They come out really super fluffy and delicious and smooth. So here we have my gravy. I'm just gonna ladle that. I made a little hole for it. You can see the color is so pretty. And I love mushrooms, so I always make sure I grab a few of those. There we go. Yum. I started making this gravy because I missed gravy. Being a vegetarian, I always thought gravy had to be like pan drippings and lots of fat and flour and all sorts of things I don't want to eat all the time. And so I came up with this version that's so healthy, I really can have it anytime I want it. It's great on Wellington. It's great on mashed potatoes as well. It's tangy and salty, which you want, and it has the mouthfeel of gravy, that smooth, luxurious texture, but again, with none of the fat or guilt that normal gravy has. I gotta go and finish this. See you next time.